got a really exciting issue for you today on the 16th of March 2020. Bitcoin prices have come down crazy, but you know what? There's only 3 times in history that we've made this kind of formation. I'm going to explain it to you in this episode, but I want to start off with celebrating some of the success that we had with this cryptocurrency little bull market here. The bull market watch nailed it for more than 100 different cryptocurrencies. You can see here the green is when we got in, the blue is when we got out of half of our trade, and the black is when we got out of the other half of our trade. And all the way through the cryptocurrencies from the beginning of February until the middle of February, the 22nd or so, we got into the coins that showed us good markets, and we got out of them when it told us to get out. This is what you want to have with your cryptocurrency trading system. If you didn't have this kind of success across more than 100 different cryptocurrencies over on Binance, be sure to check out the bull market watch before you watch the rest of this episode. And now let's jump in, because today is some really good stuff I don't think you're going to find anyplace else on YouTube. Good morning. It's the 16th of March 2020, and a lot has changed since my last video. I don't think any of us are in denial anymore about the fact of these big reversal wicks actually being massively bearish, and that Bitcoin is not going to $100,000 right now. When we go into the relative strength index, one thing I've been watching for was that we would have this trend continuation like this with the relative strength index. And we didn't have much chance to double think it, because once we hit these top formations and we broke below those, that was it. This was the moment to be paying attention as things were setting up. There was a 1, 2, 3 top formation there that was perfect. I don't think that the cryptocurrencies are going to be wiped out by this massive change in the world's economy. But at the same time, we all have to be prepared for doing short trades in all the world's economy. This isn't going to go away quickly. So as things pop back up and come up to test underneath support and resistance, as they did in the past, then we need to be prepared for more short trades if we want the world's dollars to fall into our pockets. Now on the daily relative strength index, we are actually getting down to a pretty recordable oversold condition. And we can expect that we are at a bottom of sorts here right now. And while we may be finding a bottom of sorts right now, it doesn't mean that we're going to have a big turnaround and a big jump up in Bitcoin prices right away. I wouldn't expect to be really serious on 1, 2, 3 formations that are going to lead to a long trend now, except for the 1, 2, 3 top formation that built out here and broke lower, retested, and then broke lower again. One thing that I want to do in all of my trading is to invert these charts, because I am much better at identifying a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that breaks a trend line and breaks higher, comes back and retests the number 2 and blasts off. This kind of chart pattern I have trained my eye to be good at. But when you flip it upside down, I don't speak the same language as well. So let's continue to dig in now and see what's going on right at this cutting edge down here. As I go into the 4-hour time frame, we have come back to where we do actually have a bullish divergence. Finally, for the first time, we have a bit of a bullish divergence as we've hit a double bottom here. Zoom into the 1-hour RSI, and we do have a double bottom here that is a hidden bullish divergence. These are setting up to support that the daily RSI really is at a super oversold condition, and this could be a bottom that could give us some action from here. On the weekly on-balance volume, one thing that was holding me a little bit bullish was that the dumping was less and less, but it was holding me much bearish that we just didn't have the buying volume coming up to show us that Bitcoin is changing the world's economy. Instead, the project isn't doing what we all expected it to do, or it's just not time yet, and the world needs another few years for this technology to do what it needs to do. And so I don't think Bitcoin is done. I don't think cryptocurrencies are done. On the contrary, I think that this is still a burgeoning new technology that will change the way business is run in the future, and we are still in a good spot. But for now, we're in a downtrend. We have certainly confirmed the bearish phase that I was in denial about. Let's zoom in and take a look at the volume now. As we're going through this dump, we can see these ascending wedges that are ending with a 1, 2, 3 top formation, Prices really dumped hard, but now the dumping volume has eased off. Let's zoom into the 12-hour time frame. Still pretty significant here. As we go into the 4-hour time frame, we can see the first little bit of buying enough to support the prices here. As we go into the 1-hour time frame, we see that dumping and much less dumping on this time frame here for this second run. So this is supporting that we could have that turnaround that the RSI is showing us. As we go into the weekly MACD indicator, this was a super bullish setup for me as we were going through this phase right here. As we were coming up to this possibility, this was all still potentially super bullish until we crossed. And now it's going to take a little bit of time for this to go sideways and hold here before Bitcoin starts to rise and rally. When we go into the daily time frame, we can see this cross happened right at the 1, 2, 3 top formation. This wasn't a mystery. We were talking about this as it occurred. We're talking about this divergence in the price as it occurred. All the way along here, we can see these indicators crossing negative as we broke, crossing negative as we broke. So these are lessons now that we can put into our pocket and be ready for when we see a top formations again. They'll come. Now from here, we're shopping to see when does this cross to the positive, because we have been a real negative trend. As we go into the 4-hour time frame, we can see that it has crossed to the positive, but that it's easing off here on the histograms. So we need these histograms to be picking back up and strengthening, and that'll give us an indication that we are moving up beyond these levels. As we zoom into the 1-hour time frame on the MACD, we can see that we're getting a bullish setup here, with this cross going to be very much higher should we start breaking above these levels, and this cross over to the positive with a positive histogram. That'll be a verification that this is powerful and valid, and it'll probably get the 1-hour exponential moving average to cross over at those times. Starting out on the close time frame with the Ichimoku, here on the 15-minute time frame, we can see that the blue and the red line, the conversion line and the base line, work like an oscillator. The further apart they are, the more they want to come together. The further away we are from the cloud, the more that the price wants to move back towards the cloud. So I'm watching and tracking these out as well. When we zoom back to the weekly view on the Ichimoku cloud, this is another thing that we had observed, that there was no time that we came up from underneath, touched the top of a green cloud, and ever went through one. We saw this on the weekly a long time ago in the past, where we came up underneath the green cloud, we made a top formation, and we went down 60% from that period. Down, a little consolidation, down big time again, and then sideways for many months while we consolidated. And there was still more tests where people thought Bitcoin was going to fail as it went from $300 down to $187. So we still had 50% drop. It came up 50% drop before we had the run and the big move up. We know this technology is worthwhile. The world's economy and the world's doubt of the technology all combining together here to give us a big push down. It's probably going to take quite a while for the world's economy to come back. But that world's money is going to accumulate in gold and silver and in Bitcoin and other quantifiable limited item things that we can transfer back and forth electronically. I do believe is going to have the edge. So let's go into the daily time frame and look at the Ichimoku cloud. As I've been saying for several videos, we are in a bearish stance, bearish all the way along according to the Ichimoku. When we go into the 12-hour time frame, we were bearish earlier. We had a little bit of a touch here. Things are still very bearish in this. It hasn't given a turnaround feel at all in the 12-hour time frame. And while we haven't got a turnaround feel at all in the 12-hour time frame yet, I am watching to see how far apart these indicators are. And the relative distance from us to the cloud is really important as well. We'll want to snap back to the cloud, and as we get up in this range, it will be a sell signal in the downtrend that we'll be looking for. Checking in on the 4-hour, everything still seems like sideways thick cloud. We are holding a good distance from the cloud, but nothing to say a buy signal on this indicator. The 1-hour time frame was teasing us with the potential buy signal as we were setting up and coming above the cloud here. We had a twist to the positive. The trailing indicator was coming up through, but we got a reversal and prices have come back to these levels. Let's zoom into the closer time frames. Even in the 15-minute time frame, we have a good distance from the cloud, but we are not up above the cloud anywhere that is giving us a buy signal in the Ichimoku. When we get into the weekly Bollinger Bands, this is one of the few times that we've had a weekly mean reversion where prices have come outside the third standard deviation. 3 times in Bitcoin's history did we ever have it come outside of that mean reversion. Wow, actually. So this is a really important bottom formation that we have here. That is new news to me. All the way along, that's it. Those 3 times, and they were important buying signals. Everybody's gone super bearish, but this just opened my eyes. Wow. In the daily time frame, we had the mean reversion here too. The amazing thing is that it matches up on the 12-hour to have given us a mean reversion, and on the 4-hour at the very same moment to have given us a mean reversion. And so now it just makes me really keen about the fact that we have a 1, 2, 3 formation setting up here. Now again, let's go back to that weekly and pull it back to the history, because if we are now at a mean reversion spot, we could do a 1, 2, 3. It could be a lot of sideways, but even if, we have a whole bunch of sideways action to play here. We are not in a trending market. We're going to be in a ranging market. So Bollinger Band gives a very, very different picture than Ichimoku Cloud. Ichimoku Cloud says, stay away, stay away. We are really, bearish all the way along. Whereas the Bollinger Band is giving us a mean reversion signal on all time frames for the 13th of March. Now we are getting a 1, 2, 3 formation setting up here. I would expect that we're going to get some ranging now between this and $8,000, and that the Bollinger Band mean reversions top and bottom are probably going to be the main play for the next while. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance, and we'll finish with taking a look at what's going on with the altcoins. We still have a very solid 1, 2, 3 top formation here, and the potential for this to be trending in the direction that it's going. If the government is going to seek to stimulate a section of the economy, giving cryptocurrencies more range to explore their technology might really give us a great boost. But right now, I can still see that the momentum is on the downtrend for the Bitcoin dominance. Let's zoom into the daily time frame here. I'm keen to see what's going on, because as we're looking at this top formation in September and this top formation in December, many of the altcoins made a bottom here, many others made a separate bottom here. But right now, about 1/3 of all of the coins have come back to new lows, to September and December lows at these levels, even though Bitcoin dominance is this high. So for my own part, all the way through this section, each time we've had this pullback here, the alts have given us a clear way to separate the good projects from the projects that are not doing that much. We can see the projects that have held their price levels are the ones that have the investor interest, and the coins that have fallen back to new lows now probably are not going to be the coins that have sustained development over the next couple of years. I don't know. I'm just trying to find a way to select down from the whole list of coins to which might be the better ones. As we zoom into the 12-hour time frame, we can see that this was a real big change for the alts. We do have a flag going this way. It could be a trend direction for the altcoins now that Bitcoin has pulled back, that the economy is going to suck energy out of all of these cryptocurrencies because they're high-risk investments. Who knows? But we'll see over the long term if this is a bullish move now or a bear flag for Bitcoin dominance. Let's zoom into the 4-hour time frame. It still looks like it's increasing. We'll see where the targets bring us up to, and we'll continue to monitor how Bitcoin dominance changes versus Bitcoin over the next little while. Of course, as Bitcoin dominance is rising, this is a measure of the altcoins going down. And if we invert this chart, it is really handy because we can see on the daily time frame a very close review of what many of the alts have done. They've came down to these bottoms in September, they bottomed again in December, and now they've come back and staged above these 1, 2, 3 bottoms and held there while the rest of the world's economy pulled back. For me, the coins that held into this position are really bullish. And I'll end with a quick note here on the bull market watch. We can see that we still have a number of coins in alerts and even some new alerts, while many of the coins are in neutral stance, and some of the poor projects that are not doing much of anything, they're down to near fail or fail status. So we can see the alts have really spread themselves out. They've really clearly gone into two different groups. And as these neutral coins now move over to alert, we're going to be able to track them. We already have the evidence of this system being able to successfully get us in when the markets bottom and successfully get us out when the markets are topping and coming down the other side. This is an unemotional system that works on the bull trend for cryptocurrencies. And when the cryptos do bottom and they do turn the corner, the bull market watch is going to be there to show you exactly which coins to get into and when to scale out of them. If you found trading the cryptocurrencies difficult and you want a system that nailed it across hundreds of cryptocurrencies, be sure to sign up for the bull market watch. Thanks again for watching, and I want to close with a personal word that even though the economy is looking pretty scary, we as traders are in the very front edge for being able to survive something like this. It is going to require us to become skilled at doing short trades when prices top and come down. If the world's economy is going to tank out over the next several years, as it did from 1929 to 1933, the only people who survived and flourished were those that got the skills to do short trades at the right time. So risk control is really important. Cash is a position, and learning how to trade short positions and to control the risk in these entries is going to be really important. Even though we have a 1, 2, 3 bottom right at a mean reversion area, you still got to use your risk control rules. So I'll continue to watch this one. As it folds out into another 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, we'll dump into our indicators and see exactly where this is. Thanks again for watching. Good luck in all of your trading. Let's make price movement work for us instead of against us. Thanks again. Cheers. Bye for now.